Hello, fellow friends and comrades in HR arms and people ops and all the things engagement related who are searching for answers. So glad you're back. Today, I want to talk about something very simple for you to stick to for the rest of your career to take the pain out of talent management and how long it can take to source a candidate. I want to talk about the ideal number of interviews it takes to make a good hire. And this benefits you, your employees, and the candidate. And let me tell you how. But first, let me tell you the magical number of interviews. It's 4, just 4 interviews. I will link out to some research from Google where they found that after the 4th interview, the accuracy of the candidate did not improve. If anything, it declined. It takes 4 interviews to figure out if someone's a culture fit, if they're a fit for the job, and if the team's going to get along with them, if everyone feels like this is a good decision, and move forward. So let's talk about how this benefits you, dear listener. You are the HR or the people ops or the CHRO or whoever is being tasked with talent management on top of everything else that you own. I know a lot of you are a skinny team of 1, 2, or 6 with a bunch more employees compared to you. And it's really difficult for you to be tasked with, we have all these open roles. Can you do that on top of just making sure people don't quit who already work here? Great. Also deal with everyone's interruptions. 4 interviews it consolidates the process that any hiring manager could possibly accidentally put you through of like, well, we just want another interview. We're still not sure. We need to meet with them again. You can say no, 4 interviews. And here's the research that shows that after the 4th interview, the accuracy of us making the right hire doesn't continue to go up. There's a cliff here. That helps rein in your capacity for continuing to schedule interviews to infinity and beyond, okay? That also benefits your employees because as people are pulled off of their daily work to maybe sit in a panel interview and see, okay, do we get along with this person? Let's ask them some questions about times they've done this job well. Let's see if this is the person we want to work with. That saves your people from being pulled on to even more interviews. Like, we already interviewed this person. We're interviewing them again. It doesn't give your existing employees the impression that things are systematized and figured out and the company moves efficiently. So it saves your employees' sanity as well. And for the candidate, I don't know if this has ever happened to you. I know it's happened to me. I've had the can kicked down the road, and the most interviews I've ever done with an organization to not get hired was 7. I was much younger, so I didn't know any better, but I once interviewed for a company 7 times and was asked the same questions over and over again because it wasn't organized. People weren't sharing notes on if I was a good fit or not. So 7 times I was asked, so walk me through your resume. And I was like, what? Again? Okay. I think I made it through the discovery call and the first 4 interviews. So let me tell you who I am all over again. It doesn't give a good impression to the candidate. And even if they were to take the job, they're starting off on a foot where their perception of you is, this company doesn't really have it together. I'm glad now that that company did not hire me because they put me through a lot. And to also be told, hey, we're not going to move forward. We moved forward with someone else. I was tempted to be like, well, then can you pay me for my time? Because at this point, I've given you 7 billable hours of me telling you what I would do in this role and how I would apply my skills and how I would run these campaigns, because at the time I was interviewing for a marketing job. And it just left a bad taste in my mouth to the point where, you know what I did? Back in my spicy 20s, I went on Glassdoor and said, I did not get hired and I did not appreciate what they just put me through. And that's not good for employer branding. You want to make sure that the people who are having things to say are mostly positive, which is why, side caveat, if you ever ask someone to do a project for your company, which I also have been asked to do, walk us through your 30, 60, 90-day plan as this manager or director or campaigns manager. What would you do? People spend time on those projects, and you don't want them running to Glassdoor, say they stole all my ideas and didn't hire me. There should be plenty of budget to compensate people and say, if you're going to do a project, we're going to send you a $50 gift card for your time, just for the sake of, we appreciate the time and effort that went into this. I have done this as the hiring manager. When I was hiring an intern, I was looking for a social media manager, and I asked the final 2 candidates to do a project. Maybe there were 3. But the ones I didn't move forward with, I said, I'm going to pay you for this incredible work that you gave us. We're moving forward with someone else. You have clearly a great skill set, a ton to offer the right organization. And even though it's not us, I just want to show you, we appreciate the time it took for you to put this together for us. So that resulted in a Glassdoor review at that company where they said, I didn't get hired, but they were nice enough to at least pay me for my project. And for us, it was like $50, $100, but it at least maintains the employer brand that you have to work so hard to protect and keep, because a few bad Glassdoor reviews will really knock your ratings out of whack pretty quick. And it just, when there are such stark differences on Glassdoor and people see some positive reviews and then some really nasty ones, employees already have their dander up. So regardless of what the job market is doing, this is still good advice, because when you are hiring, and a lot of companies still are, you can save your sanity, your employee's sanity. Your hiring manager can get into a better habit with working with you and not running you ragged. And you will give a better experience to candidates who are interacting with your company and your brand, whether you hire them or not. And for the person that you do hire, you're starting them off on a very engaged first foot, because engagement starts with their first impression of your company. And if you send them on a wild goose chase of meet with this person and meet with that person, they're going to be like, okay, I guess I'm joining a big old chaos storm of anarchy like I'm used to. Mostly people are used to this. But if you can avoid getting them started off on a foot that was like, what was that interview process? If you can avoid that, it's good when you do. So I will link out to the research that says 4 interviews is your magic number, and never let anyone run you ragged with more and more and more interviews. It's not a good use of anyone's time, and everyone is wondering what is going on. It's usually an issue with the hiring manager, where you need to get them very clear on what they're looking for from the beginning and get realistic about what your company can afford talent-wise and what's the best fit, because sometimes a culture fit is a great hire that you can teach certain skills to as they work for the company. So we can do another episode on making sure someone's a culture fit, but it's really asking them open-ended questions about how they've owned their failures in the past, or how they've seen projects go really well or not and what they did, how they handled certain situations, or to talk about a time that they didn't get along or see something through. When you can hear how people describe where they're at in life, you can usually figure out if someone's a brilliant jerk or just like a huge egomaniac. You can tell that pretty easily. Also, your company values, you could just say which value sticks out to you and why, and hear what they say, and that's how you hire for a culture fit. But okay, I guess that was just the other episode. We'll do a deeper dive on culture fit another time. But if you got a hiring manager that's running you ragged, don't let them. That's not what you're there for. You're not often like the dedicated talent person. But if you are, still don't let anyone beg for more and more and more interviews and say, well, we need more time with them. Say, what is it that's holding you back? What are you not asking in these interviews that's not coming through, that you feel like you need more of this person's time, more of my time, and more of our team's time, which is taking away from us driving revenue for the business? All right, I see you. I see how hard you work and how much you care. I will be back next week with some guest episodes. We've got some authors coming up, and Christie Williams is coming back. So buckle up. It's going to be a fun, exciting couple of weeks. I'll see you soon.